Um, Merry Christmas, first of all. I just wanted to say hello to everybody. Wish you happy holidays. Um, I was just thinking, what can I talk about for Christmas? And I've been doing a lot of thinking about about my channel, of what, um, looking back on the history of this channel and the stuff I've done and the things that people really like, and what do people want? What are the videos that people want? So I thought about that, and I made some notes, of course, on my phone. And the first thing that I want to say is, I'm so thankful during Christmas time. One of the things I look back and see, what's great in my life. And of course, it's my family, my mom, my brother, and recently, my new girlfriend in Prague. So I'm very thankful for my family and her. And I've been spending a very traditional Czech style Christmas for the last 3 days. And it's still going here. And it's very nice. It's pretty cold outside, but of course it's warm in here. So anyway, I was looking back, and of course I'm grateful and thankful for my family and girlfriend and everything in my life. And one of the things that I was thinking is, what do I want to do? What do I want to do in 2026? Am I going where I want to go? Am I teaching what I want to teach? Or sorry, no, I wouldn't consider it teaching. Am I showing helpful things that people need? Am I helping my fellow guitar nerds? And I think, what I decided is that I made my end of year list of the videos I want to do next year. I came up with lots of ideas, lots of things that have been on my mind. And of course, last year I launched my songwriting workshop, and that's been going well. And this just now, recently, I had clients from my workshop asked me for doing song consultations, and I said, sure. So I started doing that, and it's actually a learning process for me, because a lot of times I produced several projects, but it was always kind of with other artist producer types, and that's why we were able to get along. And some projects I would just play guitar, or some things I would just do mastering, or something I would do maybe just add a little guitar, whatever, whole different variety of things. And so I'm definitely going to go ahead with the song consultations. I think it's a really helpful thing, because it doesn't really matter what you use. Do you use AI? Do you use this? Do you use that? Do you use what software you use? What platform, online loops? Doesn't matter at all. It's the same thing with my workshop. It does not matter at all what tools you use. The point is that these are the conceptual workflow ideas that you need, no matter what tools you're using for songwriting. It doesn't matter what your DAW is. It doesn't matter if you're using just analog pedals, amps, if you're using all virtual stuff. It does not matter, because all this stuff is kind of before all those things. What I like. So I'm going to get into that a little more. Let me get back on track here. One of the videos that I've planned that I want to go ahead with, it's already done. It's been recorded. I just got to do all the editing, and it's going to be coming out for New Year's. And so it's going to be an example of how the New Year is going to go. And, I look back on the videos that are still getting lots of attention and really helping people. It's things like the whammy pedal bend video I made. I mean, I can't believe, I don't know, I should be doing a lot more stuff with that. So I definitely am going to explore that whammy pedal bend thing some more, because when I look back at that video, I'm like, wow, I did all this stuff. And I'm like, now part of the new videos I'm going to do are to help, guitarists, the problem is we have millions of riffs and no songs, right? And I want to hit my songwriting workshop, really tackles that subject and helps with that whole thing. But I'm going to get a little deeper into it in terms of how I do it. And I did it quite a bit in these videos from, I think, not this last year, but 2024, I did a lot more of these where I was developing this track, this song idea I came up with called Black Wine. And I'm going to explore this a little more, and because in that whammy pedal bend video, and a lot of those Boss GT100 amp and distortion demos, I developed this song a lot more. And so now I want to get back to that, and it's time to finish it, because one of the big things of 2026 is I want to release my own stuff again. It's been a long, long time that I didn't, for various life reasons. And, it's over the last 2-3 years, after like a 2-year break, I kind of went back to it. And of course, I showed you the Neon Electron track in quite a few videos with the backwards guitar parts and all that stuff. I was showing, I was showing how to develop your ideas. And I think what I'm going to do is definitely kind of combine a bunch of those videos. Like, okay, here I demoed some amps, here I demoed some pedals, and then here I demoed the whammy pedal. But there's a lot of those riffs can kind of work together, and I want to connect everything together, and of course through the course of that, write my own song. And I'm gonna, like I've been doing with many songs, many videos, I'm writing my stuff right in front of you, and I'm just doing it right there. So, along with all the regular blazing guitar stuff, I want to get more into, more about showing how to play with solos, wah, all this stuff. Another video that did really well was that wah video. I think that was also 2024. So I'm going to definitely just dive back deep into all that stuff. And because I think 2025, this year I was focused on a lot of other marketing, advertising related things, so that I didn't really get into doing these heavy guitar type videos. But I think I figured out a way to, I'm trying to develop new ways of video production, which will enable me to do all my songwriting workshop work, my advertising work, and all these regular, long form, short form videos to help you with stuff. I'm trying to, again, find a more efficient way to work in 2026. And of course, I don't know if you guys remember, and a while back I did a couple of videos on how to use Google Calendar if you're a musician or artist, to help you balance your life, because I totally depend on Google Calendar. There's so much stuff going on. There's no way I can remember everything. So I'm using Google Calendar like throughout the day to organize myself. I have it on my phone, I have it on my laptop, everything. So one thing I'm going to get into is a lot of songwriting deep dives from different angles. Like, hold on a second. There's a lot of helpful info I want to give out in terms of guitar playing, songwriting, producer mindset, because just like most guitarists now, we're not just guitar players. We have to do everything. One second here. Yeah, because before I get to that, anyway, the point is I want to help people come to songwriting with intent, not just I'm flying all over the place, jamming a million riffs, trying everything, throwing whatever at the wall to see what sticks. Songwriting with intent, a vision, a clarity, a focus, goal, everything. that's how the best guys did it. They always heard something in their heads, a vision, something they were going after. They always heard it. Like, you know, Jimi Hendrix, he worked with the pedal maker, Roger Mayer, and he's like, I hear this sound in my head, and because of what that sound that he heard in his head, that's how we got the Univibe. Okay, he wanted the Leslie speaker in a pedal, but that he could control the speed, like not just slow or fast like an old style Leslie is. And so, you know, and then the wah and the fuzz tones, everything. I mean, Jimi Hendrix in 1967 was the first the first guy getting custom pedals made for him. And he was like the number one guitarist in the world at that time. So you can all you guitar pedal nerds, all you guitar pedal groups, everything, you guys have Jimi to thank for all of this, okay? It's because of him that the pedal thing blew up and people started experimenting with effects and sounds and all that stuff. Just one of the million geniuses of Jimi Hendrix. So, oh geez. Right, to kind of come to songwriting with an intent and a purpose, and how to keep, you know, your focus on the big picture at all times. Yeah, so like I was saying, nowadays most guitarists are, you know, you can't just be a guitarist. You got to be everything. We have to do it all. The songwriting, the recording, the singing, the mixing, the producing, creating artwork, even coordinating and mastering people, or doing mastering yourself even. And creating your own artwork, and, you know, managing your own websites, managing your sales, making videos, social medias, all that stuff, and on. It just goes on and on. And, you know, most of us, we just want to play the guitar. We don't want to do all these other things. But now you got to do it, you know, in addition to playing the guitar on the track itself, writing your guitar parts, making the riffs, dialing in your tones, everything. It's insanity. But now, since I've done that for so long, everything, that I'm hoping that I make videos from different angles to help you think of yourself as, like, you know, a guitar player when I'm doing riffs, or a guitar player when I'm dialing in tones, or a guitar player when I'm choosing what kind of amp I want to play with, or experimenting with effects, or, you know, I want to play with some kind of effects, or what do I want to play with? What sound am I after, you know? Because now it's like even more important to get, because the thing is, then you have your day-to-day life stuff, right? Jobs, work, you have house cleaning, you have cooking, you have taking care of kids, and going out meeting friends, doing hobbies, okay, well, most of us musicians, we really only have one hobby, but some of us, you know, we will go to movies, or some of us will do fun stuff, you know. Of course, there's other stuff to do, but that's why with this limited time, it's, you know, it's even more important to keep yourself flowing creatively. Like, one little creative block can take down 2 weeks of progress and make you stuck for 2 weeks. And that's definitely something I want to help you avoid, okay? Because when you have, like, creative routines, right, you have DAW and, you know, you got DAW and songs, you use templates, you use things to keep yourself more efficient. Just, unfortunately, you have to think, like, in this efficiency corporate mindset now, because life is so busy and crazy that you need this to keep your musician life in check, and not in check, but just kind of flowing, so that when these creative blocks happen, they don't, like, take you down for 2 weeks at a time. It doesn't need to happen that way. Right? Everything that you do should be easy and efficient. It really should. Because, you know, so that you can focus on the creative work and enjoying your journey, not, oh, I got to back this up, I got to do this video editing, blah, 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 and I got to do this, I got to do that. Okay, fine. And then there goes your creativity, right? And then you don't want to work on music anymore because the technical stuff or DAW crap or something or even you're learning some AI tools, or of course everybody's using AI tools. You can't get away from them. But no matter, whatever you're using, it's still going to take time to learn it. You still have to take time to click the keys, talk to it, whatever. You got to do something. It's not just going to happen by thinking about it. Maybe when everybody gets the Neuralink chips, maybe everybody will just think about music and it'll happen. But let's see here. See, the thing, okay, now with AI, right, we have even more great productivity tools. I mean, who doesn't use it now? I used it for many things. Like I used it to help me kind of straighten out the structure of my songwriting workshop. But definitely I never use it for any creative thing. Maybe creative synonym suggestions or framework suggestions of things, because sometimes I can just go on crazy creative tangents like I'm doing a lot right now. But no, I have some notes here, so there's some kind of a structure I'm talking about. But most of the time, I'll just go blah blah blah, start talking crazy creative stuff and just going on my own stream of consciousness. But sometimes you need to, just like with the focus of a song vision, like I keep talking in the workshop, even with videos, even with what I'm telling you, yes, I'm doing a live stream on Christmas and whatever, it's Christmas, but still there is some kind of focus going on in terms of, okay, here's the middle. There's some kind of focus going on in terms of what I'm telling you. I didn't just randomly blab all this stuff. There's, a list of topics here that I got for you. So the whole thing is, I explored this in a video before, but so the question is, where do you draw the line with AI? For me, it's super simple. I don't really need to think about it at all. I mentioned this in a previous video I did maybe earlier this year or late last year about how I use AI and how I don't use AI. And definitely, and this made me think about the importance of the song idea, the creative vision, the song vision, the key thing I keep harping on all the time, left and right, in my songwriting workshop and videos and shorts and blah, blah, blah. You got to have some kind of a vision going, right? It's the importance of the song idea. I won't use the tools to write the music, okay? Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to make AI give me chord progressions, because I just want to write it myself. I mean, I want to write it myself. I like the process of writing. That's the fun part. You have some DAW thing, you're like, I'm going to try this. It's like a crazy wild video game. That's like one of the most fun video games you can imagine, is coming up with song ideas, playing with synths, playing with drums, playing with samples, trying things together. But, there's some vision in mind, right? Because there's two types of ways that I'll start doing music, right? One is like, I have some kind of vision, and one is like, no vision, I just want to play today. I just want to goof around, play with ding, 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 play with things and play guitar things, make noise, do whatever, have fun, right? So I just love doing it. I love that process. Yes, there's a lot of frustrating things, like when you can't get the right guitar sound, or if the synth sound, or the right sample, and you're tweaking that little filter and distortion on the sample, and you just can't go. Yes, there's all those little problems, but overall, it's a really great fun process. And then when I get to the end, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I survived and I created this thing, and it finally, I would say 90 to 95% what I imagined. Which is good enough for me, because I know if I try to go for 100%, I'll never finish the song, which I know because I've done this a million times before. And that's, of course, one of the things I talk about in the workshop, is that these tools that are supposed to help you finish your songs, because nobody's going to hear your songs if you don't finish them. Because if you don't finish them, you can't release them. And if you don't release them, nobody hears anything. And you can't just keep playing your own little loops for your friends every day all the time. Hey, how does it sound? And they can't tell the difference either. And for you, you're like, oh yeah, that snare, I don't know, that's so different. Wow, the song sounds so different. Everybody else is like, okay, dude, this sounded exactly the same as last week. So that's why the whole thing is to put, I don't want to be technical, but put systems in place to help you finish your song. So, yes, I use AI, but I use it more for like research and like synonym suggestions. Kind of the same way I used to use Google and the thesaurus website and an actual thesaurus book before the thesaurus websites. But I mean, I can't think of it. I can't do it. I don't want anything to tell me what my chord progression should be. It must come from inside me. It's my creative brain that is doing it. I can't have something, I can't say like, okay, something else is going to be the creative brain of my music, and then say it's my music. No, my friends, it's not your music. Yeah, this brings me to something that I've been thinking a lot about, is just like Suno, Udio, and all these AI music makers, right? Now, I understand that to many people using things like Suno, the advertising is telling you what to believe, okay? The advertising is telling them what to believe. That they're musicians and songwriters now. I saw some post of some website, which Suno probably is paid to do this, that, oh, just like your phone made everybody a photographer, and now Suno's going to make everybody a musician. Now, if you talk to a real photographer, a real studied photographer who went to college, has crazy cameras and all that, they're going to tell you that you're not a real photographer unless you get to that kind of level. And you're just kind of being a hobbyist with, yeah, I know phone cameras are amazing, etc., but you're not, I don't know, I guess for me it's different, because with music, photography is you're taking a picture of something that's already there. Whereas with music, you're creating something that does not there. It's only here, and you are making this thing exist in a sound form from your brain. Some random sound you heard, or whatever idea you had. Like for me, this happens all the time. I'll be doing something, taking a shower, or walking around, or suddenly this piece of music starts playing in my head, and I don't know where it's coming from. I mean, like I said in my old creativity video, I know where it comes from. It comes from a divine source, and it's divine creativity coming from a divine source. But why at that moment? And why that sound? Why those? Like I hear whole song parts, like a whole verse of something, like. It's just almost everything I've been recording over the last 10 to 15 years has been something I heard. Whereas before it was different kind of process of writing music, which I don't really remember anymore. So if you're using Suno and all this, you're not really a songwriter or musician, right? You're just a person using software to do the songwriting for you. And guess what, my friends? It's been trained on all kinds of songs that already exist. So it can be some new thing or whatever, but how can you be satisfied with this? How can you be satisfied like, yeah, man, I made this great track? No, you didn't. This thing that's been trained on other people's music made this thing for you. You just told it like, oh my God, I don't even... I mean... Right, some of the videos I saw were a joke, right? You type in and this is an actual Suno marketing video. Like, the guy's like, hey, what's your prompt for the song? I'm drunk at the club with the girls or my friends, and we're getting wild and crazy. And I'm like, this is the substance you have in your life? This is what you want to make songs about? This is how important music is to... I mean, yes, there's great who doesn't like going to dance clubs and having fun and all that stuff? But that's not my point. My point is like it's a very shallow, very shallow songwriting. It's not real. I'm sorry. You're not a musician. You didn't create a banger track. The AI software that people paid billions to make did it for you, so that you can keep pumping, so that you can feed that money, so they get back those billions they spent from you and advertising, and that's why that software is there. Now I'm saying this negative stuff, but I also saw something really positive. Okay. I've seen producers use Suno in good creative ways, and I'm curious about this, so I'm really going to dive in. I'm not just going to trash talk this thing without really test driving it. Okay. The only problem is that we're gonna have millions of fake AI songwriters, and hopefully, just like YouTube, when I upload a video, I have to check, is this AI content, yes or no? Hopefully everybody will have to check it, so that now you're going to have two camps, right? You're going to have the people who are okay with AI music, and then you're people like, oh, screw AI music. I want real music, okay? There's going to be two types of music lovers now in the world, and that's what AI is going to do, is two types of music lovers, right? Real music people and fake music people, okay? And there's plenty of fake music people, and there's plenty of real music people, but there's already plenty of fake music people, but now those fake music people community is going to blow up like crazy. Yeah, right, you're typing in the prompt about being drunk in the club, and bang, you're going to be the next mindless artist talking about the same thing. So, so we'll see how me, right, a longtime songwriter in the traditional way, is going to get on with Suno. Now, I'm hoping I can come up with something interesting so that it, what if there are efficiency flow things that it can do? Maybe there's a lot of great stuff that you can do with that thing. So we'll see. But from what I saw, some of the stuff I saw, but I did see one producer guy, he used it in his studio. He created some stuff in there. Then he threw it into his DAW and started, like, you can apparently do stems, so you can create the thing in there, throw it into your DAW, and then bang, add on top and create them. Now that would be really awesome, okay? If it works, because I've always wanted, like, AI assistant in Cubase, right? Hey, add another audio track. Okay, cut the EQ at this, and you're just guiding Cubase through all the moves. You know what I mean? Everything. Turn the fader down, -3. Turn this pan left, 0.3, 0.5, or whatever, So, I'm going to cover, like I said, a lot of this stuff about these different mindsets, like, because I've had to be a guitarist who's like, okay, I have to do this, then I have to write the song, then I have to do this part, then I have to create drums, then I have to some bass. So all of this stuff, what it taught me to do is think more like a music producer, whereas now I'm like brutal with my stuff. I'm like, oh, this sucks, goodbye. Either you throw the riff in the trash or you set it aside for something else. Don't get precious over your riffs. The song is the number one thing, my friends. The song and the song vision and the creative vision, that is number one. I'm going to say it. I've been saying it all the time. I'm going to keep saying it again. Don't play a single note. Create your song vision first. Do not play a single note. Create your song vision first, okay? So I'm going to pop over in the chat and see if there's who's on here. Well, I can't seem to get to my live. How do I do this? Oh, great. YouTuber doesn't know how to use the YouTube app. Awesome. I was able to do this at home, but now I can't. Here we go. All right, so here I am. I'm on here. If you have some interesting comments to drop me a chat. Drop me a message in the chat. What do you want to? I'm here. It's Christmas. Dino Claus is feeling very giving. If you have songwriting questions, if you have anything you want to ask me questions about Jimi Hendrix, guitar, whatever, ask me anything you want. I'm here. This is my Merry Christmas gift to you. Whatever you've always wanted to ask me, go ahead and put it down to the chat and I'll say. Even if you want to talk about any guitar player or whatever, drop me a note. So anyway, like I said, I'm going to start talking a lot about different angles of you know, like the guitarist. And like I said, you got to be brutal with yourself. Just like you have to think of the song first, you need to put your songwriter and producer self above the guitar player self. Okay. Yes, you're the guitarist, producer, but when it comes to, you know, making those brutal decisions, okay, this sample, no, this sample, yes, this bass line, no, this bass line, yes, those tough decisions, you have to, but the thing is, you really have to put the producer guy first, because the songwriter might be like, but I want that sound in there, but I have to have this bridge in here. But the producer guy might be like, no, your song is too long with the bridge. Just like, this is something I talk about a lot, right? What are you going to put in? Like, for me, it's the thing of like, okay, should I put a bridge, guitar solo, or both? And really, you have to see how long is the song without it. Don't just think of that part. Don't think of, you know, the bridge or this. Think of the whole song and like, okay, how long is this song? Right? Is it dragging if I have a solo and a bridge? Or no? Or is the bridge just perfect or does the bridge just perfectly push you into the guitar solo and then the guitar solo leads perfectly out to the third chorus? You got to just play and try and see what feels right. This is another thing I keep talking about, what feels right. And like I said, you have to think like a producer. The producer mindset should be the top ruler, okay? The guitarist guy should not make the decisions for the end mix. The songwriter should, yes, your guitarist self will make certain decisions, but the songwriter decisions are more important, and then the producer decisions are the top most important ones. So you got to think like that. You got to think like the musician. You got to think like the songwriter, which is also a musician, but you're thinking about the whole thing and the structure and the vision, the big picture, all that stuff. So you got to focus on those things at the top, okay? Keep the producer mindset at the top. And let's see here. And another thing I'm going to get into is I do talk about lyrics a lot in the songwriting workshop, and I explain what inspires lyrics for me. So I'll get into that, but really you just gotta, you know, let yourself be creative and let yourself be. For me, with lyrics, it's more about taking inspiration in from things like books or movies or whatever. So to me, lyrics is more about that, and also, of course, what do I want to say? And, you know, of course, or it could be just nonsense. What if you just want to have a fun song? Like there's a Def Leppard song. A lot of the things that Joe Elliott talked about was the lyrics are nonsense, but the words put together sound great, right? Like, go listen to the song Pour Some Sugar on Me. Go check out those lyrics there. That's all about the sound of the words and the phrases, everything. And it's not like a very deep plot song. It's not like, a deep, complicated, interwoven plot of a thriller movie, right? It's a fun party song. So, but again, those lyrics have big impact and you remember them. Why? Because they sound so cool together. So it could be anywhere from that all the way to the other side. It could be all the way from complete nonsense to really serious and, talking about some really deep stuff. I don't know, some serious topical issue of the day or some serious lifelong thing that's been on your mind. It could be anything that you talk about. But with lyrics, you just got to be creative. You just got to let inspiration come at you. You got to absorb inspiration like a sponge absorbing water, okay? Guitar playing, I don't know, what else can I tell you about guitar playing? There's a million videos on YouTube and courses and things to tell you how to play the guitar. You can go ahead and watch one of them. Go ahead and watch a bunch. I have tons of stuff you can, but I'm not really getting too much into the actual, how to practice and all that kind of stuff, because I feel like there's millions of people who have done that for years that do much better. And like with some of the channels I watch, like Art of Guitar, he's really great at teaching stuff. And those tutorials, man, I love that video he did of all the top 20 Ace Frehley licks and techniques and things. And, one of them was the toggle switch tricks. One of them was this particular riff. And so I really like that kind of stuff. And I think those people, because they've had like 20, 30, 40 years of doing guitar teaching, those people are going to be much better than me at teaching you those kind of guitar things, okay? Me, I want to teach you more creative, conceptual ways of thinking so that you can continuously use these ways of thinking in everything that you do, and it just sticks and it lasts you a lifetime, like one little concept, right? So like one little quick songwriting win I can give you, it's so obvious, and I'm sure some of you do it, or some of you have thought about it many times, but you just don't really do it. But of course, a lot of people who are in cover bands do this all the time. So for them, this is super easy. This is not even something that they need to learn. But one of the best ways to come up with a great song structure for your song structure is pick three of your favorite songs, which are your favorites because they just like take you on a ride from beginning to end. There's like no dead air, right? Like they say in radio, there's no dead air. You're just from beginning to end. It's like bang. You're in there, you're hooked, and it doesn't let go until the end. And there's never a dull moment. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of songwriting you want. There's never a dull moment, and that's really a lot of what songwriting is about. Never a dull moment. Because that one dull moment, that person is out. And especially in this day and age, everybody has like very short attention span. So even a millisecond of a dull moment is not going to work now. You can't have a single anything, no dull moments, no dull anything. You got to just keep going. So anyway, so you pick 3 songs that are like that and then map them out. Okay, write it out. Okay, this is the intro, verse, pre-chorus, whatever. So that's one thing you need to do is map out 3 of your favorite songs. And then, let's say you got a bunch of riffs, okay? So you take all of them, because once you have this song vision, right, like I've been talking about, once you have your song vision, it's easier for you to select and pick all the 100 riffs that you made and be like, you know what? Those 5 are good contenders for this track. So that's what you got to do is grab those, right? and then quickly fit them into this, like, let's say, some great Tom Petty song or some great I don't know, any great songwriter, right? Any Led Zeppelin or Jimi Hendrix or whoever. It doesn't matter. Black Sabbath. It could be anybody. It could be Elton John. It could be Queen. It could be anybody. People who write great songs. They're never a dull moment. Okay, keep thinking that. Never a dull moment. Those people. So you then what you do is you've got that perfect never a dull moment structure, right, from your favorite artist. Take your riffs and put them in there and structure your song just like that. Okay? And then suddenly you might notice that in the verse, the riff that you put in the verse is just a little too long, and then you shorten it. And then you do that with all the parts. Suddenly you went from a known structure to your own, right? You take little steps to get there. So that's one way to do it. It's a very quick, easy way to get a great song structure. Just copy the greats. There's so many billions of greatly structured songs. Even you could just, like Deep Purple, like Richie Blackmore would do like Bach and Mozart chord progressions in Deep Purple. So there's millions of sources you can take from and put it into your song. So you can just keep going and going. And one thing that I was thinking from these song consultations is one thing I'm working on. I noticed that my friend is a keyboard player, and being a keyboard player, she has a big advantage in that because all MIDI controllers, most of them are keyboards. So she has an advantage that she has great technique for years and years and years on the keyboard, so that she can easily write stuff for all different instruments. Me, I had to really work hard, and I'm like that 1-2 finger keyboard player guy. The guitarist keyboard player, 1 finger, 2 finger like this, right? We do, this note, this note. So if you're a keyboard player, you have this advantage and so what I'd urge you to do is to learn how to write for different instruments with keyboard. You can easily do it for vocal melodies, guitar parts, guitar riffs, bass riffs, bass synth, bass riffs, and of course, drum sampler. You can even bang out the drums there. So that's one thing I would advise, is that even if you're not a keyboard player, get good at writing for other instruments on your thing, because some people will be like just pulling in loops, or just like different loops or bass line. A bass player, he'll just pull in loops and things and just kind of put bass over it. But no, I think with any instrument, if you really think about it, you can write for others, because whatever instrument you're playing, you're doing some kind of melody, right? It's okay, except for drums or some percussion instrument. But you're playing a melodic. All instruments are melodic, so any of them can create melodies. You got the same scales and Western harmonies, Western note system, everything. So I really, really, really advise that you learn how to compose other instrumental parts instead of just always pulling samples. Okay? Now, what you can do is pull in samples and then learn how to play that with your instrument, and then that might help you in the next time. Let's say you get a bass sample, right? But you learn how to play that bass line on the guitar or the keyboards. Then, next time, instead of pulling in a bass line, next time, try to write that kind of bass line that you're hearing, whereas last time you heard some bass line and you pulled some sample. But This time, I want you to try to write it with your instrument, okay? And we're not even going to talk about AI stuff right now. We're talking about like real songwriting here, real composition, okay? Real like composer stuff, songwriting stuff, not person using AI software. That's not songwriting. And you are not a real songwriter, and you are not a real artist if that's what you're going to do purely, okay? Let's just be clear. I've said this many times. You will not be a real songwriter or a real musician or a real artist if AI is doing everything for you. The creation and the composition must come here, my friend, from here, okay? Those creative ideas have to come from here. Otherwise, that's the only way you're a real songwriter or a real artist or a real musician, okay? I don't care what the Suno advertising is telling you. I don't care what any advertising is telling you. So let's see, what else can we get into here? And so the other thing, one of the last things I want to talk about is my favorite, like I was telling you, is this producer mindset. Having a producer mindset is really, really important for whatever instrument you play. If you are writing the songs, I mean, if you're just a bass player and you just want to play bass in a band, you don't want to write anything, then thinking like a producer, it doesn't really matter for you. But I'm talking about like the songwriters, guys who want to, okay, maybe you're a guitar player in a band, you don't write all the songs, but you do write your own riffs and you do collaborate on writing song parts. So you are one of the songwriters of the band. Even if all the songs are collectively done by all you guys, you're all songwriters in some way or another. So you have to always think like a producer, because I think like in a way we do think like a producer a lot when it comes to guitar tones and dialing in tones and pedals. Then guitarists are the greatest freaking producers on the planet when we're like, oh no, that 0.03 more, 0.02 more delay feedback or whatever. Then we're like the most intricate, detailed producers on the planet when it comes to dialing in guitar tones and pedals. But I'm asking you guys to think about everything that way. All your riffs. You might love playing this riff like 50 times in a verse, but there's only so many times that riff is going to be good, that many times in that verse, okay? Like I said, never a dull moment. You got to keep things moving. So who are some of my favorite guitarist producers? Well, of course, number one, I've said it a million times. I made tons of videos, 150, 60 shorts. Jimi Hendrix, the number one guitarist producer. Yeah, and I met Eddie Kramer. And I mean, I couldn't even believe I met Eddie Kramer. That was just bonkers. But Eddie Kramer was his engineer and kind of like, Chaz Chandler was his producer kind of. But after all, Chaz Chandler just left. And that's when I feel like after Chaz Chandler left, Jimmy like kind of blew up with his own unique songwriting, his own unique style. I mean, Electric Ladyland is just like a masterpiece of diversity and guitar sounds. And I don't even know how they did all those things or conceived of them. And so Jimi Hendrix, yeah, because I would read all these articles and it was always him talking about. And everybody was talking about what he was experimenting with the studio. He built his own studio, Electric Lady. I mean, how much more of a guitarist producer do you need to be? He was the first guitarist to build his own, first famous guitarist to build his own studio. A studio that people still record in today. People are still like, it's booked every single day because of Jimmy. All right, and so all the experimentation and all that stuff he did, on the studio, it's just forget about it. And then next is Jimmy Page. of course, he's listed as the producer of all those albums. So there is absolutely, and then of course, now he talked a lot in his articles about what he was doing in the studio, directing the band, recording. And he even said that and on every album he used a different engineer because he wanted everybody to know that he was responsible for the sound. And so he was, of course, a big influence on me. And I'm reading these articles since I'm 13, 14 years old. And so this is shaping my musical brain. Like this, like I don't even question it. Like this is how it's supposed to be. This is how you do it. This is the person, he's telling me how to do it. And this is how you do it. And that's it. Like when they asked Joe Satriani about how when he first heard Jimi Hendrix, he was like, I don't know, it was just standard operating procedure. This is how it was. It was like, that was his starting point. Like that's the beginning of that's guitar, and that's how you do it from moving forward. And so for me, it was the same way. It's Jimmy Page, everything he said, and I'm like, yes, that's genius. It makes perfect sense. And of course, that built up how I thought, and I'm like, I want to do that. I want to be in the studio and doing that also. It sounds really great. And so I would kind of start doing that with the bands I was in, and later I started doing more and more, and I always did it with myself because I always had that idea of what that thing should sound like at the end, and I didn't always get there, but I think most musicians, they don't get there more often than they get there. So, but that's part of the game. It's like, in baseball, 300 is a great batting average. That's one hit every 3 or so at bats, right? So that's like so let's say you write 300 songs, that means only 100 of them are any good, okay? You got 200 crap songs. That's just the way it is. You just got to look at it that way. So Jimmy Page, of course, the way you guys can go read all that stuff. Like, I don't need to explain to you all the stuff he did and how all that stuff still stands up today. And then later on, I got into Steve Vai quite a bit, and he was another one of those guys. He had his own studio in the valley where I lived, and he was more local for me because he was also in the valley, like where I grew up, and that's the same place he was. And after he left, Frank Zappa too, he was also in the valley. Same thing, like how from Ventura Boulevard, Ventura Boulevard, it's been a long time since I drove in LA. From Ventura Boulevard, you take Laurel Canyon up into the Hollywood Hills, and that's where you get to all these places where all those guys were hanging out, Jim Morrison, everybody. And I drove by there a million times throughout my whole life. I grew up there in the valley. And I drove through Laurel Canyon, Coldwater Canyon, all those a million times going into Hollywood and, LA and stuff from the valley. So to me, it was like, they're locals. And so Steve Vai was another one of those, and he was really technical in the articles about like what compressors, and then this got me interested in compressors and things because Jimmy Page was a little bit more secretive about stuff. Like for decades, he never told anyone that he was using high watt amps on stage and in the studio. Because guess what? He had amps that were covered live a lot, and those were high watts. And he probably got into high watts because of his old buddy Pete Townsend from The Who. So Jimmy Page is one of those guys. Just one of the top most guitarist producers of all time. I would say as a guitarist producer, probably beyond Hendrix, because he was there for so many more albums, and it was a lot more very intended. And I think Jimi Hendrix was getting there. He was already self-producing by 69, 70, and everybody else was just, Eddie Kramer was just helping him. Eddie Kramer was just helping him reach those goals. He knew how to. Eddie Kramer knew how to make those mental sonic ideas of Jimmy's into sonic realities in the studio. So there's another great one. And then let's get back to Steve Vai. He was way more technical. He would get into compressors, EQs, a lot of that stuff. And he got really deep on it when he was talking about a lot of those Passion and Warfare articles. So that album was really big time for me in high school and a little bit in college. So that one was definitely, he's definitely one of those guys for me. And then, of course, the more I read about, the other one is Robert Smith of The Cure. Although they do work with a lot of producers, Robert Smith I did read a lot about him. He is the studio guy also. They're very much the studio sonic architect types, okay? And he's like that. Yes, they work with outside producers, but he's still the one with the song visions and the guiding visions and everything in that band. But yeah, and he's using, engineers, producers. But to me, he's also that because really, if you listen to so many Cure songs, everything is very carefully like this guitar sound on this part here is a very specific sound. And it's only there for 4 bars. And this one is here as the main part. Then there's the Fender Bass 6 in this part. And all of these, and it's just this interwoven like tapestry of different guitar sounds. And it's just as intricate as like a Steve Vai song or a Jimi Hendrix song or a Led Zeppelin song. Sometimes even more layers. Like I was listening to Kiss Me yesterday. What was that song? Like Cockatoos. And just listen to it. There's so many different guitar layers in just that one song. That Kiss Me album is really great. That thing has tons of different songs, different guitar sounds, because Robert Smith said that he wanted to make an album where every song sounded like a different band. Or I think that was The Head on the Door, and Kiss Me was like a evolution of that. Like every song is totally different. Kind of like Led Zeppelin 4. Every song is totally different, but it has that sonic imprint. Same like the Kiss Me. Every song is totally different, but has the sonic imprint that it's them. So that's kind of where you want to go to, is have your sound, but have the diversity. And if anybody who's joining us today, like I said, it's Merry Christmas to everybody. Anything you want to ask me about music, guitar, Jimi Hendrix, songwriting, guitar production, whatever, drop me a comment. And let's see here. And I'm going to drop off some info, whatever I can. So let's see, who are some other great... Joe Satriani's a bit of he works with producers, but he's also very much of a studio architect, studio tinkering mad scientist guy. I love that stuff. That's really what it is for that guitar thing, the tinkering like a mad scientist in the studio. That's part of the fun of real songwriting and real putting songs together. That mad scientist tinkering in the laboratory, that's just the most fun possible thing. And you want AI to do it for you and take all that fun away? What's wrong with you? It's like instead of playing a video game, like people watch other people play video games. It's kind of fun, but it's like watching somebody else play a video game and enjoying it. I'm like, no, play the game yourself and enjoy it. So to me, like playing in Cubase with songs and things and sounds, everything, it's like the most coolest video game I could imagine. And I don't know, it's just so much fun. Why would you let something else have all that fun? It's like somebody else is drinking a great juice and you're like, I mean, what the hell is wrong with you? It's like watching somebody else, like, drinking a great juice or a beer or whatever, and be like, and then you being like, that you really enjoyed it. Crazy maniacs. That's not real. Yes, we have this thing living vicariously through other people, but eventually you want to do that thing yourself. Like, I don't know. I guess it's like the people who've never done it don't understand how much fun it is. Like, I'm sorry, but no AI songwriting tool is going to beat hammering riffs for a long time and coming up with these things, and just that feeling that comes over you, that intense energy that you become like burning with life, and you're full of energy. You're like, oh, this riff. And or just playing a song, somebody else's song, whatever. It's just like, I don't know. I couldn't let the AI do it for me. So anyway, so I think I'm going to start wrapping it up here. I hope you all had a great Christmas and continue to have a great Christmas. And like I said, I gave you a little sneak peek into the new year, 2026, where I'm going to go and talking about all these things and, talking about helping you with all of the different sides of putting songs together as a guitar player, as the songwriter, the producer. And also, I have to sing my own stuff, and I compose all my vocal melodies myself of all my songs, even if I hire other singers. So I can, get into like that whole angle of things like singing, lyrics, all the different angles of it, the production, the songwriting, and the musician playing, the guitar playing, whatever. So anyway, I really look forward to helping everybody. And of course, please do subscribe and drop me some comments here if you watch this video later. Merry Christmas to you again, and hope you have a great happy holidays and New Year coming up. I'm going to just, you can go to my channel, of course, and click the link at the top of my channel, my workshop programs. And you can also drop me emails about song consultations, which I've been doing, which are helping people. And of course, subscribe to the channel, sign up for the workshop. And I got tons of free stuff you can watch on my songwriting videos. I link to the songwriting blueprint. I've got my guitar solo worksheet. I've got all kinds of free stuff to help push you in the right direction. You know what I mean? Everything is to help point you in the right direction to make your visions a sonic reality. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, please make sure, one thing I can suggest for you in 2026, if you want to do the New Year's resolution thing, is set up a creative routine for yourself, okay? It doesn't have to be every day. Every day might be burnout. You want to give a little break here and there. But I would say minimum 3 to 4 times a week, 15 to 30 minutes a day, at least. Even if you don't have anything creative, just practicing a riff and just keeping yourself in that zone, that also helps minimize the creative blocks, okay? So that's one thing I can suggest is make yourself a creative routine, okay? And in my workshop, if you want to sign up, if you're ready for the workshop, sign up. I will give you a great template for a creative routine, which you can easily adapt to fit your crazy busy schedule, okay? And everything that you need. And remember, don't beat yourself up over stuff. That also, beating yourself up over stuff is going to make creative block worse and just will drag you down into the black hole of creative block worse. So do not beat yourself up, okay? So anyway, I'm done here. Thanks again to my family, my girlfriend, my friends, everybody for all the support they've given me. I've had a very interesting year, very eventful year, and I've had a very, very nice traditional Czech Christmas time with all the traditional stuff that goes on with it. And anyways, I will see you guys soon in the new year with my first crazy new guitar fun video. I'm not going to tell you what it's all about yet, but just you're going to love it. It's all about having fun and getting wild, okay? And so anyways, you guys have a great rest of your Christmas. Have a great day. I hope to see more comments from you here after this. Hope some of you watch this one after I'm done. Anyway, everybody have a great Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to you, and I'll see you guys later. Okay, bye.